Yeah, basically, if you go trans and you go with the hormone replacement therapy and the, reassignment surgeries, you're going to be stuck wearing Jinko jeans the rest of your life. Welcome back. Be sure to subscribe. Let's get right to it. First topic, Trump has once again doubled down on there are only two genders and men are men and women are women. Go ahead, take a look at the clip.
There aren't too many people. You know, it's amazing. It's got to be like a 98% issue, right? So what are they doing, Marjorie? What are they doing? They're fighting for a 2% issue. That's good. Let them keep doing it. No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you're born with male DNA in every cell of your body, you can never become a woman. You're not going to be a woman. And that's why last month I proudly signed a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports, and it was very popular.
Yeah, see, this type of thing is just great to see. You need your president going out there and just telling everybody the reality of the situation, right? Not some guy who's going to just dance around the topic and doesn't know what a woman is, can't tell you what a woman is. You see, this whole trans thing, it's like a fad or, a trend, right? Like Jinko jeans back in the 90s, right? So people are all about it right now, but in 10 years, people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we were wearing those Jinko jeans, right? And it's the same thing with the trans issue, but unfortunately for these people who go trans and then they go out and they get their, hormone replacement therapy or they get their reassignment surgeries, now they're stuck wearing their Jinko jeans for the rest of their lives, right? It's not like you could just take the Jinkos off and be like, oh, that fad was, that was a wild fad. What were we doing back then? No, you're stuck wearing your Jinkos for the rest of your life, right? And then the worst thing a parent can possibly do is put a young kid in Jinko jeans at like 6 years old and say, oh, you're trans now. And now that kid has basically no ability to say, no, I don't want to wear Jinkos the rest of my life, right? So there it is. Trans is basically a huge fad. It's just the cool thing for all these pretty much social rejects out there that need like something to, identify with and give them some sort of credibility, I guess you could say. I don't know. But yeah, basically, if you go trans and you go with the hormone replacement therapy and the, reassignment surgeries, you're going to be stuck wearing Jinko jeans the rest of your life. But all right, let's get to the next topic. The Canadian transport minister, I don't even know what these people are. They got all these weird, things, it's basically like the U.S., but who knows? They're all ministers over there. I guess she's threatening to tariff Tesla. Go ahead, take a look at the clip.
Our retaliation is going to be surgically targeted to create the maximum pressure on the White House to stop what the Wall Street Journal has described quite rightly as the dumbest trade war in history. An example of a measure that I will put in place as Prime Minister is 100% tariffs on Teslas. I think that should get some attention in the White House.
Doesn't Canada know how this goes yet? They make a threat on tariffs. Trump says, oh yeah, okay, you want to do that? Well, we're going to throw a reciprocal tariff right on your ass. And then next thing you know, 30 minutes to a day later, they're bending the knee. An immediate knee bend, like, oh yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. We got it in our back pocket. Canada loves having things in their back pocket. Oh, we got that tariff in our back pocket, but we're not going to use it yet. We said we were, but we're not. Because everybody knows, listen, if you want a trade war, we'll give you a trade war. Trump ain't afraid of no trade war, right? So it's like, yeah, you can go ahead and do some sort of retaliatory tariffs, but we're just going to step on your neck and then you're going to have to, bend the knee. That's what Trump does with the tariffs, and that's how it works out every single time, folks. People end up bending the knee. But all right, let's get to the next topic. Some Pennsylvania senator obviously does not know biology and how human bodies work. Go ahead, take a look at the clip.
Female bodies are just as strong, as fast and capable as male bodies. For what reason other than political gain, are we spending time and taxpayer dollars on a completely made-up issue? There are 8 million high school athletes across the country, and maybe 160 of them are trans. This is the 5th time we are voting on this bill that targets less than 0.002% of high school athletes. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. Participating in sports gave me the confidence, time management skills, and ability to work collaboratively that led me to run for office. Absolutely nothing about having a trans teammate or competitor would have taken those things away from me.
See, now this is the type of thing that we cannot be having, right? We cannot be having somebody in some sort of position of authority pretending like they know how the world works and how they know, like, oh, I played 3 sports in high school. Yeah, right, you did not play 3 sports in high school. First of all, what sports were they? You don't look like you've ever played a sport in your life. And second, what level did you play? Were you a freshman, JV, varsity? Because that matters too, right? If you were on the freshman girls basketball team, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically just we're playing for fun, right? We're coming out there. If we can field a team, we're going to play for fun. But see, this is exactly what I'm talking. We don't need these types of people going out and putting these types of fake opinions that's just an agenda-driven opinion, right? We all know that's just an agenda. And, like, yeah, it's just purely faking people. And we can't have people in the government who are just so willing to just purely fake people like that, right? Because that's all she's doing. She's not saying anything real. Everybody knows that it's complete bullshit, because if she was right and men and women's bodies were equal and they were the same when it comes to speed, quickness, you know, just strength, whatever, agility, you would be seeing women in the MLB and the NFL and the NHL, the NBA. You'd be seeing them all over the place because they're equal. But for some reason, we don't see any women in men's sports. And remember, the men's sports, they're open divisions. They take all comers. You're some incredible woman, great, you're on the team. Incredible transgender person, you're on the team. You're a murderer, but somehow got off on a technicality, boom, you're on the team. You're going to help us win, you're on the team. That's sports, right? That's men's sports. But this woman obviously has no clue about sports at all. And she's now pretending like she played 3 sports in high school. Get the fuck out of here, lady. But all right, let's get to the next topic. So this obese man was vandalizing a Tesla. It's just hilarious. It's an obese dude vandalizing a Tesla. Take a look at the clip. I don't know what is just so funny about that video. It might be the fact that the guy's just riding around on some quad like that, or he's just obese, or he rams straight into the Tesla, and then you know he hits his ball sack on that gooseneck of the handlebars there. And I love how he just goes straight into it like it's nothing and just pulls the handlebars back. I don't know. I don't condone any Tesla violence in any way, nor do I condone this, but there's just something about how sick people are, like this guy, just to do something like that. I mean, wow, right? Wow. But all right, that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you.